Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to show you guys how I make this trapezoid shaped shoulder bag. It's a lot easier than you may think, so let's just get into it. First, let's cut our fabric pieces. Start by cutting a long rectangle that is about 24 inches long by 4 inches wide for your strap. Next, cut a rectangle that is 16 inches long and 13 inches wide for the body of your bag. Your exterior fabric pieces should look something like this. Take the larger rectangle that is meant for the body and flip it over to the back side of the fabric. On the longer 16-inch side of the fabric, mark the middle points as you see I have done here with the dotted line. Then, on the shorter 13-inch side of the fabric, measure 1.5 inches from both the top and bottom of the fabric and mark those points. Draw a line connecting those points to the top and bottom middles of the fabric as you see, and then do the same to the opposite end of the 13-inch side as well, so that it looks like what you see in the picture here. Now cut along the lines for each of the 4 corners and make sure you don't accidentally cut along the line in the middle of the fabric, since that was just a reference point and not an actual line that you want to cut. The shape that you just created as a template, cut out that exact shape in your lining fabric, so all your fabric pieces should look like this now. Next, take your exterior fabric piece and fold it along the center point that you marked earlier, and then clip both the right and left sides of the bag so that only the top end is open. Repeat these steps with your lining fabric so that both fabrics form the same purse-like shape. At this point, I decided last minute that I wanted to add some interface fabric to my bag, so I cut out that body piece the same as I had in my interface fabric so that I could use it with the lining. This is fully optional, but it can be helpful if you're using a flimsier fabric. Line the interface fabric up with your lining fabric so that they are one piece when you fold it together, and clip them all together since those are all going to be sewn as one piece. Sew along each of the clipped sides for both your exterior and lining pieces so that only the top is open for both pieces. I sewed using a simple straight stitch, and I actually stopped my stitch about 1.5 inches from the bottom since that will be eventually cut off, but even if you sew all the way to the end, it doesn't really matter for the next few steps. After sewing each of the sides, we're going to create boxed corners for our bag. On one side of the bag, flatten the seam that you just sewed so that you create a triangle at the corner. Then you want to sew a straight stitch at the bottom of that triangle where you see I've marked with a Sharpie here. Use clips to hold the corner in place and use a Sharpie to draw a straight line along where you're going to be sewing, and then do the same for the opposite corner. Creating these boxed corners is much easier to follow visually, but if this explanation wasn't detailed enough, I have a much more in-depth tutorial specifically on how I create boxed corners on my channel as a separate video. Make sure to check that out if you're still having trouble understanding this. Sew each corner with a straight stitch along that line that you marked, and then once those are both complete, your bag will look something like this. This step is technically optional, but I typically snip off that excess corner since a lot of times it makes the inside of the bag a bit bulky, so snipping it off makes it look a little more clean and finished when the bag is all done. Repeat the steps to create those boxed corners in your lining fabric as well so that both your exterior and lining pieces match. Going back to your exterior fabric piece, flip the body piece right side out so that the correct side of the fabric is facing outward. Leave your lining piece with the wrong side facing out, and then take that and insert it into your exterior piece so that the pieces fit inside each other perfectly, with the wrong sides facing each other and then the correct sides facing the direction they should be. Fold the top edge of the lining fabric outwards and the top edge of the exterior fabric inwards, and then line them up so that the edges are facing each other, right sides together, and then clip them in place so that there are no raw edges showing. This part may be easier to follow visually if it was a bit difficult to follow based on my explanation. Once you've added clips all around the top edge, your bag should look something like this. Set this piece aside for now as we make the strap. To make the strap, fold the fabric inwards in thirds on the long edge as you see I'm doing in the video. Take the outer third and line it up with the fold on the inside so that the edges are all aligned, and then clip that before sewing. I make sure to also add clips on the closed end of the strap so that when I'm sewing, it sews very evenly and smooth and there aren't any bumps in the end result. Sew a simple straight stitch along each of the clipped edges of your strap. Moving back to the main body of the bag that you made earlier, take one end of the strap and insert it in between your lining and exterior fabrics, making sure to line up the middle seam of the side of the body of the bag with the middle of your strap. Now insert the other end of your strap into the other side of the bag just as you did and clip both sides in place so that it's secure. At this stage, before putting in the zipper, sew a straight stitch all around the top edge of the bag. This will sew the lining, exterior, and strap all together in one seamless stitch. Once that is all sewn together, set that piece aside as we prepare the zipper to add into the main body of the bag. Since the opening of this bag is about 7.5 inches, I used a 9-inch zipper. It's important to use a closed zipper with a length that is greater than the length of your bag's opening. This will ensure that the zipper can be sewn on properly for the method I'm going to show you. First, I cut out a small rectangle of my exterior fabric to add to the closed end of my zipper to create a more polished, cohesive look. This technically isn't necessary, but it does make your zipper look a bit more clean. The rectangle was about 1.5 by 2 inches, but you can adjust that as needed. And then I just fold it over the closed end of the zipper, clip it in place, and then sew a box all around the edge so that it is secured in place. Here's what the zipper end will look like when that is finished. For the sides of the zipper, cut out 2 pieces of your exterior fabric that are each 7 inches by 1 inch, and cut out another 2 pieces the same exact size out of your lining fabric. Line the exterior fabric strips along the top side of the zipper on each of the outer sides, and line it up with the open end of the zipper as you see I am doing here. Do that for both halves of the zipper and clip them in place. If you have any excess fabric for the open end of the zipper, you can fold it under like I did here so that it doesn't show. Now take your lining fabric and line it up with those exterior pieces with the wrong sides facing each other so that the zipper is tucked in between each of those. Secure those with the existing clips, and once those are all lined up, your zipper will look something like this. Sew all these in place by doing a simple straight stitch all around the edges of each rectangle on each side of the zipper. Your finished zipper should look something like this. Now that your zipper is prepped, it's time to add it to your bag. Zip open your zipper so that it's easier to sew to the body of the bag. Take 1/2 of your zipper and line it up with 1/2 of the opening of your bag, and then do the same to the other half of the zipper and the other half of the bag. It may be hard to clip in place unless you have longer clips, so I usually do a quick hand stitch on each end to secure it before completing the full stitch under the sewing machine. When the zipper is all lined up, sew a straight stitch directly on top of the existing stitch of the exterior of the bag so that they all blend seamlessly together. Your bag is all complete now and ready for use. I hope this tutorial was clear and helpful. Please let me know your thoughts if you decide to make it, and feel free to send me pictures on Instagram or tag me on TikTok at conceptsbynikki if you decide to make this bag. Leave a comment letting me know of other tutorials you might want to see, and thanks for watching. Talk to you guys later. Bye.